all today on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi taking a look at everything the NFL has given us over a wild weekend. The Saturday matchups between Denver, Buffalo, Seattle, and San Francisco. Plenty to sink your teeth into. Some big decisions made. The fallout with Sean McDermott, of course, Joe, being fired out of Buffalo. We will get to that. A turnover fest in Foxborough with the Patriots and the Texans we will get to as well. But we begin this show, this conversation, with Bears-Rams. A bang under. You said it. Shout out to you. 20-17 final score in overtime, where Matthew Stafford and Caleb Williams were going back and forth, moving the football, but settling a number of times on those possessions. The difference in that overtime game was Caleb Williams' third interception, a clear miscommunication between he and DJ Moore. The Rams were able, Joe, to move down the field and get into field goal position. Win, no cover for Los Angeles as they clinched their spot in the NFC Championship game. What was your biggest takeaway from Rams-Bears?
The Rams escaped, right? I really believe that. I mean, you know, you could take the good, the bad, and the ugly. What Caleb Williams, that fourth down play where he hits Cole Kmet on the touchdown, was one of the most unbelievable plays, I think, not just in playoff history, but just the NFL. I mean, a 40-yard Hail Mary on basically a 4th and 4. So you take that. That was the good, right? The great. And then the bad is the interception. And I told you in break, you put half of it potentially on DJ Moore, maybe not understanding the route and not being in the right place. And on the other side, it is, you know, Caleb Williams and his, I want to say, aggressiveness in that type of situation, not recognizing, hey, we don't need really the touchdown. We just need to move the football, move the chains, and put us in a position to potentially win the game with the field goal. And we talked about it. The Rams have been exposed. I mean, I don't think they are an elite football team. They have a very good offense. They have a young defense that at times has been opportunistic, but also at times has been exposed. And I think that showed through. And McVay made some poor decisions as well. It's just that Chicago made a few more in the overtime, and that's why the LA Rams are moving on to the NFC Championship.
So this is, it's big picture relative to this game, small picture. It's something up your and I alley. I think there is right now a market inefficiency that teams need to realize. The old Chip Kelly style needs to come back. Every single time a team goes tempo, march right down the field.
Right.
They march right down the field. Run, go. Just bury these defenses, because every single time the Bears have no choice with their backs against the wall, you can pretty much guarantee they're going to get into the opponent's 30-yard line, right?
Right.
We've seen that for a lot of these teams. That it just seems to always be the case. With this game, though, Joe, the difference in it, right, with a game like this, it's just sometimes it's just the bounces. And I know that, you know, that sometimes applies more to fumbles, but it's just DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, who have really been in sync with one another, I feel, during most of this postseason, were not in sync in that moment. And I don't want to crush Caleb for taking a shot that looked like it was there. And I don't want to crush Ben Johnson for putting the ball in his quarterback's hands in a way that he should. And also, I'll say this, you know, all the go for it nature that Ben Johnson went for in this game, ultimately it works out. I think we can critique play calls on the 3rd and 4th downs, but the decisions to go for it, Joe, in its totality, it really did work out. But I think, for me, at the top end of this conversation is probably what you started off with the Rams escaping. I know people won't like this, and look, it's early. I'm thinking the Rams can get to and actually win the Super Bowl right now. We try and sometimes figure out, like, what is the weakness of this team? I think they are soft. I do. I think they were bothered by the cold. They're on the broadcast like, you know, the Rams guys, they can't run their routes as well in this weather. Wasn't it snow? The field wasn't covered in snow. It's cold. It's like guys couldn't get out of breaks. Stafford wasn't as comfortable in the pocket. It's like that's not it's cold. Like, it's cold. I'm not saying it's not cold, right? But, like, I think there's just, you can punch this team in the mouth, right? And that's what the Seahawks did on that Thursday night game. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, it's standing 8 count. They, it happens to teams. I think the Rams are much better than Chicago, but they kind of played down to that level and kept the door open. But the thing sometimes when you have a team who is, and I think this is actually the case, I think the Rams are more talented than both Chicago and, again, with Seattle waiting in the wings, you have to kill them when the chance is there.
Yes.
And I think the Bears not doing that, it really reinvigorates the Rams, who right now, for me, feel like the Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, the fact that they escaped that environment, to your point, didn't play their A game, and now here they are with an opportunity to move on to San Francisco and just beat a divisional opponent that they had dead to rights in the last game. You could say, it looks promising, right? And I think when you talk about the Bears, think about the first drive. First drive, Ben Johnson's play call was amazing. They get inside the red zone. All of a sudden, they can't close the door to be up maybe 7-0, right?
Yeah.
And that potentially would have gotten that crowd in there that much more. We got 7-0 lead. And then all of a sudden, they fight back. It's 7-7, 10-10 at half. And, I'm listening to the broadcast, and everybody, the Rams. And I'm like, they're not playing well. They're not stepping up. And that's where the window of opportunity, I thought, for the Bears, young as they are, to really crack this team in the mouth, run the football with DeAndre Swift, and to your point, Monangai, running with an attitude. I think they could have broken their will in the third quarter, and they didn't do that, and that's why the Rams escaped.
Yeah.
I think if they would have did that, if that was another team, I think they would have been, if that was Seattle in that situation, 10-10, and seeing how they were playing in that cold weather, I think you would have gotten a heavy dose of Charbonnet and Walker in that type of situation to wear them down and punch them out, and they didn't do it.
But I do think that is what sets up Los Angeles pretty well, in my eyes, Joe, because, look, this is a team that can't be blown out. If you look so far this year, their biggest loss was by 7 to Philly, the blocked extra, the blocked touchdown. So, again, it was kind of a 1 point, because Jordan Davis could have laid down on it, by 3 in overtime to San Fran, by 3 to Carolina, 1 in overtime to Seattle, by 3 to Atlanta. It's these tight football games, and that is where then you do have elements of this team that you trust, right? You trust Stafford to not turn the football over. You trust Puka Nacua to catch the football. You trust Sean McVay to dial up the right stuff. And that, for the Rams, can be the difference. We've spoken so much about Josh Allen's pedigree relative to the AFC. Sam Darnold played Bryce Young in round 1, first career playoff game, and Caleb Williams in round 2, second career playoff game. He's going to be playing Sam Darnold in an NFC championship game in his third career playoff game. Matt Stafford's won a Super Bowl. Matt Stafford and this Rams team have been at it for a while, and it's a team that I've been hard on. I know that because, Joe, the conversation around them, it's like, they're in a tier of their own. No, I think they showed again against Chicago. They are not in a tier of their own. What I do think they are, the way that maybe I can kind of, everyone who loves this team and myself, and I know you're similar, where I think maybe we could all meet in the middle. The Rams are the most difficult team to beat in football. And that's how you end up going on the run that they're going on.
Yeah, so you think about every level, right?
Yeah.
So you think about the wide receivers, we know what they have there, right? Adams and Nacua, 2 of the very best. Mm-hmm. The running backs, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, above average rushing attack. They didn't utilize that yesterday, but just think about weird, right? Tight ends, they have 3. You can make an argument Davis Allen when he's in there 4.
Yeah.
So
Listen, plenty more to talk about here, as well as New England and Houston. It is Pro Football Today on SportsGrid.
The immediate word on the street in Philadelphia and outside is that the best guy for the job would be Brian Dable. It's like all you have to do is spend an hour of your life with me and Tyrone every day, and you're going to learn so much and be prepared for future conversations. Because I told you this back in November.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Aaron Rodgers' season and maybe career comes to an end. But I want to start by saying this. We always go to the losing team, it feels like, first sometimes. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on Pittsburgh. But I think Houston's live, right, man? Like, I mean, if they're going to play that kind of defense next week, they're going to beat New England too.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. It all comes down to this.
We got you covered right up till kickoff.
The Miami Hurricanes, a 10 seed built on pressure. The Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated and dominant. Spread, total, player props, insights across the full betting board. National championship coverage.
And I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
I'll be double checking the list twice.
Only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on Pro Football Today, talking Rams, Bears. I want to ask you about Chicago quickly, because I know that you grew to love watching this team play. Rightfully so. Everybody did. The throws from Caleb they'll last forever.
I feel like I was ahead of not with Caleb. You get the credit for that. No. But I mean, seeing ahead of the curve that they were making, they were a more serious contender. The last month of the season, I feel like I was ahead of the curve.
You were. So I actually sat down and was thinking more about that. And I think a lot of people made a mistake with this Bears team because they kept winning these super close, games. And we've been taught in NFL history when teams win like that, probably fraudulent, probably going to get got. And what people weren't appreciating is they were doing this as a very young team. Caleb Williams, year 2, right. Ben Johnson, year number 1 as a head coach. And it was getting them ready for any and all moments. And the best version of the Bears, whenever that next year, 4 year, will be a team that's capable of actually blowing teams out. You have to be able to blow teams out. But this group was building something for real in those wins. And some of us were too concerned with being the smartest guy. Actually, it's better to lose by 7 than win by 1. And that's how people got. Right. And you absolutely saw it clearly. I give you a lot of credit for that. What I think is very interesting with this Bears team, though, Joe, and this is something that I was fascinated with coming off of the Green Bay game and then coming up, is what lessons do they learn? Because, there are some people who now look at the talent of Caleb. They're like, listen, eventually, he'll win an MVP. He'll win a Super Bowl. Well, the Buffalo Bills just fired Sean McDermott. Josh Allen has won 1 MVP.
Right.
During a run of, 6 years, 7 years, where he's been seen as a clear-cut top 3 quarterback. They've been seen as a Super Bowl favorite a number of those years. So nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
I wonder how Chicago looks at this season in the mirror and where they look to improve off of it.
Well, obviously, defense, I think they have some issues that they can improve on. So that's the first one. Whether they do it in free agency or the draft, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other one, they revamped the offensive line. I don't think they have any offensive concerns right now. Now, whether Swift is there long-term isn't the answer. Monangai, the rushing attack, I think, is fine. You could still pick up not a journeyman, but a free agent running back.
You could always, in this offense, too, you would expect.
It's not Saquon Barkley with DeAndre Swift, but he's an above-average running back because of how he catches the football.
Yeah.
But when you look at this team, the difference, I think, between Buffalo and Chicago is they potentially have a breakout star at the tight end position, a.k.a. another Brock Bowers and Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
Right? They have young, raw wide receivers that are burners in Dunze, and now the emergence of Luther Burden that has just come on. That is amazing.
Yep.
So I don't think the drop-off is going to be as significant, let's say, Jaden Daniels-esque, where they struggle. Because think about it. Jaden Daniels, outside of Terry McLaurin, didn't have young weapons. They had an aging Deebo Samuel. Yeah. They had an aging Zach Ertz. They had Noah Brown that couldn't, was a journeyman. So think about that. And then think about Josh Shakir, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis. I mean, Kincaid is good, but he's nowhere near Loveland. I'm sorry, he's not. He's emerging into that. But if you want to say he's an up-and-comer, he's a lot better than where he was last year, and obviously Dawson Knox. But the weapons are not the same.
Right.
And that is the problem when you look at Buffalo and you're like, okay, Josh Allen is Superman.
Yep.
But he doesn't have anywhere near a number one wide receiver. How is that possible?
Well, listen, I think some of that is, again, and we're going to get more into Buffalo today, but I think for Chicago, what they have to realize is they have Caleb Williams, eventually is going to be paid probably record-breaking quarterback money. Colston Loveland eventually is going to be paid record-breaking tight end money.
Right.
They believe in what Luther Burden can be. They like Monungai, paid a lot on the offensive line. They have to get this defense right. It's too cutthroat. No team. I'm not sure I'd let Dennis Allen call my defense next year.
Really?
Well, that defense is not, to me.
Nah.
Now, people say they stepped up in this game. Again, maybe. And we're going to find out. But I just, the everything, you never know. Last year, the Bears finished last in a division that sent the other three teams to the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, they won it. That's amazing. This is an up-and-down league, man. It is. And I just wonder, everyone is going, Chicago next year, Joe, let me ask you this. Right now, you expect them to be booked as favorites in the NFC North next season?
Yes.
I do, too. I don't think that means it's guaranteed to come in.
No,
Detroit. Detroit's going to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Green Bay's bringing everybody back.
Right.
Like,
but I'll just say this: quarterback-wise, you're buying into Caleb being that elite guy.
Yes.
And even though Love and Goff are there, Goff is now starting to, slow
down. Sure. He's got a lot to prove next year.
He's got a lot to, and then Love, as good as he was early on, I didn't see the $55 million.
So
price tag.
streaky, Joe. But you
and
saw
the injuries too. He's always banged up.
But you did see something for. Listen, on the road against Chicago, there was 4 touchdowns, no picks, 300+ yards. Right. The fact that they lost that game is still unbelievable. But listen, they lose Parsons. They as a whole, Green Bay got very, very injured. But let's remember, a season ago, Detroit was the number 1 seed in the NFC. For half of this season, a quarter of this season, Packers were NFC favorites, right? So, I'm not saying anything is wrong with the Bears. All I am saying is you lose this game, people say, hey, don't worry, we'll be back.
No.
And
you're right.
Jaden Daniels was an NFC Championship game last year.
Yeah.
The Commanders might be booked as the last-place team in the NFC East next season.
I will say this. I think the Bears have to seize the opportunity in the next year or so.
People think...
But I think they're ahead of where Washington was.
Yeah.
I think they're similar... Well,
Washington had a bad offseason.
Yes.
You got to have a good offseason.
You can't have aging weapons. I'm sorry.
I know.
You can't. Outside of Terry McLaurin, he wasn't even there.
He was injured all year.
I'm just saying. So my point is, Detroit is I think, but Detroit is different because Goff got to a Super Bowl when he was already there, right? When they were booked as favorites, the perception was veteran quarterback, great weapons, and now here we are. Caleb is on that trajectory.
Right, but also, the guy we'll talk about next has been to the playoffs each of his first 3 seasons, won a playoff game each of his first 3 seasons, and was lucky to not get benched at halftime for Davis Mills. So nothing in this league is guaranteed. We will talk Texans, Patriots next, right here on Pro Football Today.
The immediate word on the street in Philadelphia and outside is that the best guy for the job would be Brian Dable. It's like all you have to do is spend an hour of your life with me and Tyrone every day, and you're going to learn so much and be prepared for future conversations. Because I told you this back in November.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, oh, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Aaron Rodgers' season and maybe career comes to an end. But I want to start by saying this. We always go to the losing team, it feels like, first sometimes. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on Pittsburgh. But I think Houston's live, right, man? Like, I mean, if they're going to play that kind of defense next week, they're going to beat New England too.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. It all comes down to this.
We got you covered right up till kickoff.
The Miami Hurricanes, a 10 seed built on pressure. The Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated and dominant. Spread, total, player props, insights across the full betting board. National championship coverage.
And I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
I'll be double checking the list twice.
Only on SportsGrid.
Patriots, Texans. All right. There's a lot of different ways we can go. I got to tell you, Lise, I quite like C.J. Stroud. All right? So maybe this is going to come off crazy.
Go ahead.
I think people are being too hard on him.
Ah, come on.
I think they are.
Come on. I am. Part of me is very happy what transpired last night.
Uh-huh.
Because,
Well,
because now, here's the thing. Let me, not to steal your thunder.
You're not.
But all of the gurus, the experts, were so quick to anoint DeMeco Ryans as an elite head coach, right? And quite honestly, I think he handcuffed this team. As good as this defense was, and he's a great defensive coordinator, and he's a great eye for defensive talent, to really construct that team, his lack of killer instinct from an offensive perspective is a main reason why, in my point, they are where they are. And people argue that and put it all on Stroud, and that's fine. But I think, ultimately, DeMeco Ryans is the reason why all of this ever happened. And it's a take that not a lot of people will agree with, but I believe that.
So then let me start there, and then I'll work back to CJ. Because, again, I actually – here's another one of my takes. I loved this game. I thought it was one of the most entertaining football games I've watched all season long. It was chaos. At any moment, something crazy was going to – I thought it was awesome. You have been hard on DeMeco Ryans.
But I was also very high on him as well.
And I think he is disgustingly conservative.
Thank you.
Okay? That punt is enough to make him come in the office. Hey, we're going to have a conversation.
Which punt are we talking about?
The 4th and 18, 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I literally don't want to be here anymore.
Where, hey, if you're a head coach, you fight for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
You fight, but I'm going to quit at 56 or 56-52.
And again, maybe
that's a great job, DeMeco. Keep preaching in the offseason.
Maybe
fight
I'm hanging
for
out
60
with
minutes.
you too much. 4th and 2 on the 7-yard line. I said, when Kirk didn't catch that ball, do you think DeMeco pumped his fist so we could take the field goal?
He's happy. Play for field goals.
But here's the thing. When I hire a defensive head coach,
that's what you get.
Hold on. And all I get is the best defense in football, and I make the playoffs every year, I kind of got to That's my guy. So I think D'Amico's a guy. What I do think is D'Amico not only needs to get an offensive guy in there, but D'Amico isn't allowed on the headset when the offense is on the field. Like, hey, it's 4th and 2, and D'Amico goes to talk, and it's like, no. What, stay out there. Again, you can't be a defensive guy, get these defensive results, and be on the hot seat. So I think D'Amico, if we're grading it, Joe, he's at worst a B+. I'm sorry, he's at worst a B+.
He's a B.
Okay.
I might even go like
No,
C-.
I got you to B.
I might even
B
go
to C minus. No, I sold you high. He's a B+. Here's my thing on Stroud.
Go ahead.
And why I say I want to give him a pass. Coming into this year, I did not believe in the Texans for one main reason. I do not believe you are allowed to punt on offensive line and not pay a price. This team had an awful offensive line, and their main offseason move was to trade the only good offensive lineman on that line in Laremy Tunsil. And you can say that long-term, that is going to work out, and maybe it will. But C.J. Stroud was getting mauled back there. And, gosh, whatever. I'll take what C.J. Stroud did yesterday over what Justin Herbert did against the same defense. C.J. went out there and took chances. Herbert was just waiting to get punched in the mouth, I feel.
All right.
I understand it was bad. I'm not saying it was good. It was awful. But they were getting mauled. No Collins, no Schultz, no offensive line. It is what it is. He went out swinging. Now, did he listen? It looked like he was going to tear his ACL swinging that hard. Like he was swinging from the feet, but like he went out swinging.
So you.
I'm impressed.
Here's the thing.
I'm impressed. Dang it! This team's gutty.
So who's the college scout for the Texans? Do they only go to Ames, Iowa? Because that's all they draft is Iowa State wide receivers. Noel, Higgins,
right, but these guys will
Hutchinson.
come along.
I mean, can we get a burner from LSU? Can we get somebody from the SEC?
Who's the LSU kid you were tweeting at the other day that you were mad at? Hit the portal. Anderson?
Aaron Anderson. No, he's going to the NFL. I love that kid.
No, there was a kid who hit the portal. Was supposed to be a big game wide receiver. Never stopped up. You were tweeting
Nick Anderson. Yeah. Glass house. Chandelier.
There it is. Listen, well, I'll tell you what, people. Nobody thought Pat's Texans breakdowns would lead with, I actually think the Texans played all right. We'll talk the Patriots side next on SportsGrid.
The immediate word on the street in Philadelphia and outside is that the best guy for the job would be Brian Dable. It's like all you have to do is spend an hour of your life with me and Tyrone every day, and you're going to learn so much and be prepared for future conversations. Because I told you this back in November.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of like in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done. Right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Aaron Rodgers' season and maybe career comes to an end. But I want to start by saying this. We always go to the losing team, it feels like, first sometimes. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on Pittsburgh. But I think Houston's live, right, man? Like, I mean, if they're going to play that kind of defense next week, they're going to beat New England too.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. It all comes down to this.
We got you covered right up till kickoff.
The Miami Hurricanes, a 10 seed built on pressure. The Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated and dominant. Spread, total, player props, insights across the full betting board. National championship coverage.
And I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
I'll be double checking the list twice.
Only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today, the show that proudly began a Patriots-Texans breakdown saying, you know what, Texans, you're all right in my book.
I can't believe that.
Can I tell you what's even crazier? Patriots, not so much. Patriots.
You know, I don't even know if I could sit up here. We did the pregame. I picked Bo Nix over Drake May. You're pumping up Drake May.
Yeah.
Right? Like the second coming of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He steps up. He performs well. It's Pop Douglas. Pop Douglas that gets
laser.
They're eating like Zeke. Right?
Yeah.
And then, and all of a sudden now.
Right. Yeah.
Too bad he couldn't hit that Kyle Williams. He was unbelievable. Guy was a little. Wait, guy had like 6 steps on like.
Let me ask you this.
Fly routes.
No, you know what? Answer me this. How are you not making money on Kayshon Boutte? You forget to read the Wikipedia before the game? He went to LSU, 75 and a touchdown. How are you not making money on Kayshon Boutte? Honestly, you're betting Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's bad.
No, come on.
I'm a little
As someone who loves you and has to take time out of his day to root you in, can I root you in? You give Austin Hooper? Really?
I had Boutte in a parlay. I did.
You're tight end twos.
I had Boutte with Hutchinson to score. It's not my problem. C.J. Stroud turned into, really.
For 2.
You know.
Hutchinson, 13 targets, 4 grabs. That was a tough game to watch.
13 targets, 4 grabs.
Listen,
and couldn't get to 50 yards. What are we doing here?
I think we didn't halt them. Okay, in all seriousness, here is my beef with the Patriots.
Go ahead.
Honestly, is in the first 2 games defensively, they have smashed these offenses because they are 2 horrific offensive lines.
They're not going to have that. They're going to have to bring their A game against. And I know it's Stidham, but going into that environment.
Yes.
And with a Super Bowl coach that knows how to scheme.
Yes. Denver has
going to be a different game.
Denver has an A-plus offensive line. What we have seen from New England, and it has not impacted the results of these games, is a quarterback a little reckless with the football. Now, the interception was a end-of-half Hail Mary. That doesn't matter even slightly. But Drake May is leaving that football vulnerable. And this is a Broncos defense that is ruthless and will be on 10 because they are going to know, Joe, the game is on them. They are going to know that game is going to be, do we step up? After not stepping up, by the way, right, against the Buffalo Bills, allowing 30 points in that football game. So, for me, when I'm evaluating these New England performances, okay, in the same vein of Chicago, hey, feel great. Vrabel's going to coach this team for another decade. Drake May is going to be your quarterback for just as long, if not longer. We know that, okay? But you are now booked as favorites to win a conference comfortably.
Yeah.
You are seen as a team that could absolutely beat either Seattle or Los Angeles by everyone else. And I know it's on the nose, but it does feel like the team whose season was also defined by an easy schedule has had a perfect run out to start this postseason.
Yeah.
In terms of opponents.
No, I agree. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better opponent right here, right now, even though they're on the road, than a backup quarterback and a team that potentially is deflated because Bo Nix, is out for the year. I get that. But, and I keep saying but, you are right to assess that their playoff, and we're just talking playoffs now, their playoff victories have come against basically anemic offenses, especially at the end of the year. The identity of the Chargers certainly wasn't the same at the end of the year as it was in the middle part or the early part, with allowing Justin Herbert to cook and utilize those playmakers in the passing attack. And, yes, they're good. Gonzalez, a lockdown corner, and I understand the secondary for New England's playing lights out. I get that. But I still think the difference is when you look at New England and you look at the 2 teams, Chargers and Texans, what did they fail to do offensively is, again, they fail to consistently challenge them vertically, right? I mean, because they were hit, these offenses were terrible, right? They were terrible. The throws Now, part of that people argue, oh, it's the coverage. Yes, it's also the mentality. You need an attacking mentality. I don't think Peyton is going into this game because it's Stidham and saying, you know what? I'm going to look to win this game 16-13 because I have the better defense. I don't think he goes in there. I think he believes in Stidham to a certain capacity.
Yeah.
And he believes in his ability to play call to challenge them vertically. And again, call it, backups are backups, but Lil Jordan Humphrey, it has size. Mims can burn. Cortland Sutton, pure number one. My guy Ingram, when you get him the football at times. Harvey runs 4-3. You're talking about playmakers at every level.
Right.
And you got to believe that New England's saying, you know what? We agree that you're a backup quarterback, but we're not going to give you easy yards, right? You got to believe that New England's going into this game. We're going to shut down Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin, right?
Yeah,
and let's put the game on Stidham. And that's where I think Peyton might have an advantage here, saying, okay, you want to play that way? We're going to slice you and dice you early, and then let's see if you could play catch-up.
Yeah. So, to me, I don't think Denver is as lifeless as the books think.
I like them. I'm telling you that right now.
Listen, you want to put, we can both put it on the board right now. I like Denver a lot. But again, we'll handle that more.
I like the over, though, as well.
Not for me. But that's, what I will say. Here is what I will say, again, because I'm sure some of you out there are, Pats fans watching this being like, what is happening right now? Like, we are in a conference championship game booked as favorites, and we just beat the Texans, and people are basically saying the Texans play better. I'm not saying that, okay? What I will say about New England and where I think the confidence in this team should come from is, despite the fact that Drake May has, some of the fumbles right now, is I do believe in his talent, and I know that it doesn't maybe look as flashy as Caleb, right, or as exciting as, when Jaden Daniels with his athleticism. Joe he is an efficient gunslinger, which is the most dangerous thing that you can be. I think sometimes maybe one of the best tests of an elite quarterback is when he throws a football deep, right, before the camera can get to the wide receiver. Are you under the impression that's about to be a big play? Do you believe that that's going to go the offense's way?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not, the way the Texans' offense was, anytime C.J. Stroud threw the ball down the field, I was like, well, okay, best case scenario, this hits the ground. They're not catching this. Every time Drake May throws down the field, they're like, well, that's going to be 25 plus. And I think for the Patriots, what gives them an opportunity not just to beat Denver, but to win the Super Bowl is their offense, despite not being littered with superstar skill position players. They have depth, a quarterback with a ton of talent, and a play caller who has a lot of experience in these moments. And I think they, for the most part, in both the games against the Chargers and the Texans, maybe against the better judgment of, hey, just win this game, continue to let him throw to get confidence. Because we're not going to win the Super Bowl unless you are A-plus confidence. I think some of that goes back to UNC, right?
Yeah.
One of the reasons you weren't sure about Drake May is that North Carolina, they're not winning big games. They're trying to put him in big spots so he feels comfortable in big spots.
Yeah, I think Vrabel's done a great job in believing in him, and they've opened up. And that was the one maybe concern you had about Vrabel being a little conservative, right?
Yeah.
In his days in Tennessee when they had the number one seed, when they had Derrick Henry, they didn't utilize the strengths maybe of that team. And you say they missed their opportunity with a very young football team at that point. Let's not forget he had A.J. Brown in his prime, right, for the most part. I'm just saying. So I think that Drake May is coming into his own. But this is going to be a different animal. If he could do it on the road in this environment, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, I think that is well said. Let's talk about maybe now the biggest fallout. Well, that's not true. It's still Bo Nix and Stidham. But the other is that the Buffalo Bills need a head coach. That's next right here on Pro Football Today.
The immediate word on the street in Philadelphia and outside is that the best guy for the job would be Brian Dable. It's like all you have to do is spend an hour of your life with me and Tyrone every day, and you're going to learn so much and be prepared for future conversations. Because I told you this back in November.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, oh, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Aaron Rodgers' season and maybe career comes to an end. But I want to start by saying this. We always go to the losing team, it feels like, first sometimes. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on Pittsburgh. But I think Houston's live, right, man? Like, I mean, if they're going to play that kind of defense next week, they're going to beat New England too.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. It all comes down to this.
We got you covered right up till kickoff.
The Miami Hurricanes, a 10 seed built on pressure. The Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated and dominant. Spread, total, player props, insights across the full betting board. National championship coverage.
And I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
I'll be double checking the list twice.
Only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. And the Buffalo Bills, following their loss to the Denver Broncos, made the decision to move on from Sean McDermott. I don't think it was an easy decision for Buffalo, but this is a team who has done a lot of winning under Sean McDermott. But they have not been able to win big. They have not made a Super Bowl. It's actually they have done a historic amount of winning without winning big. You do not see teams get this close without breaking through, really, ever. And we know the quarterback's not going to change because Josh Allen is on the a top 5 quarterback to every single person. So a lot of people still think the best quarterback in football, quite frankly. Were you surprised to see Buffalo move off of Sean McDermott?
No. Again, we talk about window of opportunities.
Yeah.
This was the window to seize the moment. Without Andy Reid and without John Harbaugh in a championship type of setting, this was for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to basically assert themselves. He had the quarterback with the most experience from a playoff perspective, and he had a team that at the very least could outscore anybody and just get there somehow, some way. And it's unfortunate. I know Bills Mafia will say the controversial call, and I get all of that. But let's not forget, a couple of years ago, at home, the DeMar Hamlin year, they get abused by Joe Burrow. And
in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs in your building. I mean, you can't discount that. When you look at Sean McDermott, you think, I think at least, good head coach. I don't think elite. Does Sean McDermott wow you to the point where I gotta have him on the sidelines?
No.
Is he like what? Okay, he's a defensive guru. Did the defense step up?
No, and I think that's ultimately what it comes down, right? Like if you have a defensive-minded head coach who rolls, who can roll sevens.
D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, right? Or, Mike McDonald, in Seattle, whatever it might be, paired with Josh Allen, you would expect major results. And the reality is, people have mentioned it, 98-50 during his time in Buffalo, 8-8 in the playoffs. So you go from winning 66% of your games to 50% of your games. And again, it is okay for the standard to be the standard. Like, just because Sean McDermott, I think, is actually likely to find a job during this head coaching cycle, despite entering it late, doesn't mean it's a mistake to move off of him. Because this is just a team, Joe, who has been far too close without breaking through. And you could probably make more excuses for Harbaugh not breaking through in Baltimore than you can in Buffalo, right? Like with Harbaugh, it's like, Mark Andrews dropped it, or Luke missed a field goal. Like for Buffalo, it's not one play, it's one game where it goes wrong, but it's just there's too much there, I think, for this football team. Now, just like getting rid of Harbaugh, but maybe even more so, the risk in getting off of McDermott is they have not had the most talented defenses year in, year out.
No.
And you kept the general manager. And it's a decision that has kept a lot of people, I think, questioning the move to get off of McDermott. Like, people thought it needed to be a cleaning of house. My read on the situation is they are keeping Brandon Beane because they already know who they want to be head coach.
Brady?
And Joe Brady. And they will interview Brian Dable, and they'll see if it maybe makes more sense to go that direction. And maybe Josh will be more comfortable, and maybe Dable, who has been a head coach, made a playoffs. Maybe they think that's better than Brady, who's never been a head coach. But I don't think they're looking for a new GM to come in and do a wide casting net. Right. Because I also don't think they want to shake the Josh Allen cage that much.
No.
I think they're going to give Josh something he knows while making a big change in moving off McDermott.
And I don't necessarily think Brian Dable's a good head coach. I think he's
you think it should be Brady?
Yeah,
you like that move?
I do. I would rather go with the younger guy that at least is working with Josh. And if Josh gives the okay, like, hey, I like what Joe's doing. He's putting us in a position to win. All we need now is wide receivers and guys that can burn. Then you stick with it. I look, because Brian Dable was there at the early point of Josh Allen's career, I'm not discounting that. But I'm also certainly not discounting the fact that Brian Dable was a head coach that couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag in New York from a game plan perspective. He wasn't a good head coach. He did well one year and regressed every year after that. I know we're going to disagree. We disagree on McDaniel and we disagree on Dable. But I don't think Dable's a great head coach. He might be a better coordinator, and maybe he caught Josh at just the right time. But
I think, first of all, I think every offensive mind is a better coordinator than coach because it's easier. You just call plays. My thing is this. You think about the best coaches in the NFL, right? And the two names that I think will probably end up in everybody's top 5 are Sean McVay,
right,
Andy Reid, or 3 names.
Shanahan.
Okay. Because if you get the guy right and he is offensive-minded, you are set.
That's why Ben Johnson and Chicago are on that trajectory, but they have to follow through. Look,
that's why New England getting Josh McDaniels, who's probably burned a million teams, it'll be a coordinator forever. Like,
but can we be honest? Buffalo does things on the cheap.
Okay.
And McDermott is a cheap head coach, I believe. I just do. Like to me, McDermott isn't elite. It's not like if he goes somewhere, do you think is he garnering $100 million?
Oh, I mean, listen.
Is he garnering 15, 17 million? Is he garnering?
It all depends.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Buffalo, and Sammy's going to get mad. I don't care. They do things on the cheap. They have cheap wide receivers, cheap skill guys outside of Cook and Josh Allen, and that's how they've gotten by, and that's why they haven't won a Super Bowl.
One of the safer predictions, though, for this Buffalo offseason, I think, with assuming, Bean is actually, they see this out and they keep Bean, is they take a big swing at a wide receiver. Because that's now the thing that keeps popping up. And they tried to make trades at the deadline for a wide receiver, and they couldn't pull it off. So I think this team is going to do something in that regard.
You think they draft one, too? Because they haven't done a great job drafting.
Yeah, no, I actually don't. I think they'd probably be more so trying to hope they hit somewhere defensive. Because I think the wide receiver they bring in, Joe, they need to be sure about. They need to be certain about that wide receiver. So somebody who's already established, has a 1,000-yard season somewhere under their belt, is more so what you would expect to see out of Buffalo. Conference championship games are set. Pro Football Today, we'll talk about it next.
The the immediate word on the street in Philadelphia and outside is that the best guy for the job would be Brian Dable. It's like all you have to do is spend an hour of your life with me and Tyrone every day, and you're going to learn so much and be prepared for future conversations. Because I told you this back in November.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, oh, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Aaron Rodgers' season and maybe career comes to an end. But I want to start by saying this. We always go to the losing team, it feels like, first sometimes. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on Pittsburgh. But I think Houston's live, right, man? Like, I mean, if they're going to play that kind of defense next week, they're going to beat New England too.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. It all comes down to this.
We got you covered right up till kickoff.
The Miami Hurricanes, a 10 seed built on pressure. The Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated and dominant. Spread, total, player props, insights across the full betting board. National championship coverage.
And I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
I'll be double checking the list twice.
Only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi. Joe, I want to take a look at the opening numbers here for the conference championship games, get a sense of what type of movement we could see. We've talked a little Broncos-Pats already, so I want to make sure we start Seattle and Los Angeles. A 2.5-point spread. Looks like there might be a 3 out in the market in this game. Total right now, 47 and a half. What jumps out more to you, the side or the total?
Total.
Okay.
I think we have points aplenty. I think this is similar to the 39-38 game that we had on that Thursday night or prime time. I just feel the fact that the Rams were held in check by Chicago, right, and how that game played out, I think they're much more aggressive in this game on the road.
Okay.
Especially with a championship hanging in the balance. I don't think they throw caution to the wind. They're throwing haymakers early and often, and if they're going to go down, they're going down utilizing Puka, Devontae, and Matt Stafford's arm. And it's just the bottom line. Now, do I agree with the side? 2.5-point home favorites. You're buying into Darnold over Stafford in that situation, and that's what's the problem, right? Now here it is: 3 straight road games: Carolina, Chicago.
That's a good point.
Seattle.
That's a good point.
The only one I can remember back in the day, and I have to double check this. I know there was somebody else that did it.
Well, what do you?
3 straight.
So
I think it was Elway did it.
Well,
when they
Brady actually did it in Tampa Bay the year he won the Super Bowl.
Okay, so Brady, but I remember Elway when they first won.
It's not very common.
No, but if anybody could do it, it's McVay and Stafford, right? In that situation.
And part of the reason they can do it, Joe, is the first game they were a 10.5-point favorite, and in the second game they were a 3.5, 4-point favorite.
And now they're dogs.
That's what I'm like. Yes, my point is though, this isn't a team. You know, in March Madness, when a team gets hot, this team's 0-2 against the number.
I know.
We've got to.
I like the over more than anything, but I lean to the Rams, but I don't love it right now.
I'd love to know a team who's been 0-2 and made a conference championship game. 0-2 against the number and made a conference title game. It's probably not a very long history because usually you're just a favorite winning a game. Right?
How much are we putting into the fact that Charbonnet's out? He's the battering ram.
Walker's better than him, though.
I know he's better than him, but to not have that other
Yeah,
I'm just saying that.
I think what's interesting is, are they going to be willing to actually use Walker like a 90% snap count? Or are we going to be watching, what was it, DJ Dallas, who was getting...
Is he still there? They scraped DJ Dallas.
Am I crazy?
They used to have Travis Homer.
Velus Jones was getting that back. I was saying DJ Dallas.
Jones.
That's who was getting the work.
He was a wide receiver at Tennessee.
In the game.
25 years old when
they might have you come and get a couple carries. Can I tell you the most ridiculous thing? I know you'll laugh at me for this. I saw this. I went, all right, I already know what I'll do. Perfect. 6-point teaser. Rams 8.5, Broncos 10.5, 11.5. Perfect. You have to give up naming rights to get a 6-point teaser in today. Minus 134 for a 6-point teaser on one book.
So what are you taking?
Well, I'm just going to have to completely scrap that plan. I'm not paying minus 134 for it. I don't listen. To me, the teaser stuff, not much my game at all. I know you could care less about a teaser, but the price on it was just totally out of bounds to me. Pats Broncos. And we have some 5.5 out there.
I'm taking whatever they're giving. I'm taking the home team in that situation.
But let me ask you this: what do you think is more likely? This closes at -7 or -3?
You can't make it -7. -7?
Yeah, it's not. There's no chance.
No, I think if anything, we creep down to 4 or 3.5.
Here's the question I wanted to make sure I asked.
7.
What do you think this number would be if Bo Nix was playing?
Denver -1.5.
So I think, 1.5, 2. The only way you can make sense of this line, well, there's two ways, is if you think New England would have been booked as a road favorite, or if you think that Bo Nix is secretly an MVP candidate, or you think Jarrett Stidham's the worst quarterback in the history of football.
I think Stidham's...
This is a violent move.
Yeah.
Off of Bo Nix to Stidham.
Well, I think part of it, too, is that they beat the team that was looking at in Houston as that, they're the dark horse, best defense, and they still beat them by 12.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, they beat them by 12.
No, I
So when you take that and you take differential, they beat the Chargers by what, 13? 16-3. They beat now double-digit wins on both home games.
Mm-hmm.
Now they go on a road with a backup quarterback who hasn't played since 22.
Yeah, it's a completely different environment. It's going to be really fun to watch these numbers move throughout the week. The total in that football game, between 41 and 42. Some 41.5 a lot, but between 41 and 42. And we're going to have you covered the entire way. And, of course, on game day right here on SportsGrid with Pro Football Today.
The immediate word on the street in Philadelphia and outside is that the best guy for the job would be Brian Dable. It's like all you have to do is spend an hour of your life with me and Tyrone every day, and you're going to learn so much and be prepared for future conversations. Because I told you this back in November.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Aaron Rodgers' season and maybe career comes to an end. But I want to start by saying this. We always go to the losing team, it feels like, first sometimes. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time on Pittsburgh. But I think Houston's live, right, man? Like, I mean, if they're going to play that kind of defense next week, they're going to beat New England too.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. It all comes down to this.
We got you covered right up till kickoff.
The Miami Hurricanes, a 10 seed built on pressure. The Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated and dominant. Spread, total, player props, insights across the full betting board. National championship coverage.
And
double
I'll
checking
be
the
ready.
list
I'll
twice.
be ready.
I'll be double checking the list twice.
Only on Sport.